All right, so you guys hear me okay? All of the amazing audience that came here today? All right, so let me introduce Procurri to you. I'm a strategic product and account manager for Procurri. And basically, I have accounts for hardware and VMware support. Today, I oversee VMware support exclusively on the global scale. So if anything happens or any sale is going on the VMware side, I'm going to be involved. It doesn't have to be all like that, but in the future, you'll probably have different accounts that take care of the VMware support for you. In terms of Procurri itself, I'd like to talk about what is this company about. First of all, this company has been around for almost 25 years now. Different names, acquisitions, changes as usual, but for 25 years, Procurri has had a very polished service methodology for hardware support as a third-party provider. So what does it mean, third-party provider? Like, for example, if you have a BMW, you go to Firestone to fix your car. So Firestone, in this case, would be a third-party provider. So we do the same thing for hardware and VMware. And I'll go into the details of what is the difference between our support and all the details of what licensing you should have and so on, because it's always a question. But look at the map, please. You've got quite a few brick and mortar. I think it doesn't, my laser doesn't show on the screen, but we actually have brick and mortar offices with on-site engineers. We have escalation engineers. We have full-time employees that take care of the support for you. And how does it typically work? For example, if you come to us and you say, Tim, can you support 30 VxRail servers or 3,000? We say, yes, of course, but we'll also do some homework because we need to have spare parts on site next to you. And that means that I cannot even say yes to a customer and say, yes, we can support it unless we can get the spare parts close to you to satisfy the SLA of 4 hours on-site replacement. That's a premium support. But think about this. To commit to our customers, we have millions of spare parts around the world to provide maintenance for customers. So it is not just, yes, we can support it, and if something breaks, we'll go and run to a store and buy a hard drive. We actually have that part in stock, ready to go if something happens, and then we say yes to a contract. So it is a big business. It is growing real fast, and maybe that's why Exio, the big Japanese company, obviously in Japan, EXEO just bought the rest of the stock for Procurri. We're now under the $3 billion wing of Exio. If you've heard of NTT Data, NTT Data is typically the largest partner for Exio. We have certifications around the world, ISO certifications. We keep renewing them. We keep applying for the new ones. We have follow the sun scenario, so no matter where you are, we'll support your hardware or VMware. VMware is our first software offering. We will most likely to continue with different software vendors to provide third-party support. And again, as soon as you hear TPM, just think, I'm going with my BMW to Firestone. Or whatever is like, Mike, what's a good... Sitna. All right. Well, I'm saying not the OEM dealer, but the like a mechanic shop. Like
my local one is very, very small.
Well, but I think you get the point in terms of it's not like you must go only to the dealership to fix it. We do work with a lot of large OEMs. We support thousands of assets for Dell, HP, IBM, you name it, primarily networking, compute, and storage. Our newest offering is going to be Pure Storage as of this week. We now support TPM. We're doing TPM for Pure Storage, which is kind of like a borderline of software hardware. And these are what we call 4 pillars for Procurri. I am primarily in the independent maintenance, basically TPM space with software. Then we do have what I call green ITAD, asset disposition. So if you want to migrate and decommission some assets, we'll actually go on site, take them down for you, disassemble it, and even with the buyback program, we can give you money back, which is pretty awesome. I wish I could do it with everything I don't need in the house, for example. Come take it away and bring me the money back. So, advantages of going with us. Believe it or not, single point of accountability is a huge one. And if you've ever been in technical support, you know that it's always the other guys. It's the hardware people pointing fingers at the VMware people pointing fingers at the hardware people, and all it does is just procrastinates the solution. It just delays the time for the solution. We do one service portal, one login, same escalation engineers that talk to you, same accountability point, same point of contact. The stellar service methodology that we have polished for 25 years now applies to VMware support. And there are a lot of companies that do third-party VMware support, and they're just software, so they cannot do the hardware support. So our edge is to provide a full, complete package, which means, again, everything is in the same portal, same escalation engineers, and so on. We run about 2,000 tickets a month, just to give you an estimate, and customer satisfaction scores are really high. Escalation is very low. We can give you the metrics and all of that stuff. So now going to what exactly do we do with VMware? So before I even go to what do we support and the specific details about it, we work only with perpetually licensed VMware products. We do not do anything with subscription because that's the Broadcom domain. They own that space. They have the support for that. And if you buy VCF license, then you get the support automatically. There are a lot of customers today that have a perpetual license, and they're in the process of going to Broadcom or going a different direction. But we are there for you to help with the bridge support in any way you like, because it's not a question of somebody versus Broadcom or not. It's a question of we need to run your workloads safely. They need to be up and running, and you need support for it. And even if you're migrating, even if it's 3 or 6 months, we can get on board with you and help you to support it, and then you migrate anywhere you like. Or you don't have to go anywhere. You can stay with us with the perpetual license. And please stop me at any time, ask questions, since this is a pretty nice student to professor ratio. We can get all the details. We work, what we call is the scope for the VIS offering is the vSAN, vSphere, and vCenter. So those 3 products we've got right out of the box, very easy to get the quote. We do not count cores. Very refreshing piece of information. We count only physical CPU sockets per host. So if you call me and say, Tim, give me a quote, I'll say how many ESXi hosts, how many CPU sockets, and also what VMware products you need to support. And pretty much the same day, I'll give you a price on what does it take to get support. And we do things like co-terming. For example, we just onboarded a local state government in Florida, and they wanted three months support now, because in 3 months they're renewing hardware with us, and it's going to be co-terming everything at once in November for hardware, software, and they've got one bill to take care of. Any questions about what we call VIS?
Can you talk a little bit about the patching and upgrade support?
Sure. Yeah, it's a common question. So for vSphere 7, there's end of general support that ends next month, as you know, at October 2nd. And that's that ends the critical updates from Broadcom. And great that this question is coming from Valley Cyber, because we recommend Valley Cyber for secure and ASXi hosts. And when we say support, right, I don't want you to think that you're getting efficiency, risk, compliance, security with support. If you go to any vendor, any professional services, it's going to be each item separate, or as a package, but it's a separate statement of work. So why am I saying that? Because typically customers will say, all right, so I'm getting support. That means my environment will be secure. No, that doesn't mean that. That means we'll keep it running for you. We get you onboarded. We see what license you run, what configurations, storage, VMs. We bring it back to the same exact state. If you don't have a security posture, our support is not going to help you if you don't have a strategy for security. So we will have to work with the vendor that does security for you on an everyday basis. And I hope I'm answering your question, because this is typically where it goes on the patching and support. Broadcom itself is committed to, I can even show you an article for critical updates. How many of you know about the KB on critical updates, knowledge base article? Are you guys aware of it? Mike knows. Do you know? Have you seen it? Okay, so you've got, if you're on vSphere 8, you've got critical updates until April 2027, end of general support. So that means you've got them for free, plus if you secure your environment, then you should be good to go with your environment. But I cannot guarantee anybody risk, compliance, efficiency, and security by selling support. We can work with you and get you a statement of work, but support is not security, for sure. Only feature updates, upgrades, and make my system better. We don't do any of that, because you will not qualify for them from Broadcom. Only CVSS 9.0 and higher. And again, it's also like a question, how long does it take to get them? So you're better off working with something like Valley Cyber to get your host secure. I think you publish these updates before even Broadcom does. Yeah, so that's pretty amazing. So, but and I hope I'm going into the details to kind of shed more light on the support versus professional services, because it's a very common question. We are not going to be Broadcom. We're not going to provide, again, comparison to a car, like your vehicle. To go to a dealer and say, can you update my maps for free? The answer is no, right? Does the manufacturer still do recalls for you? Yes, they do, because they have to sell a product that is working. So next offer that we've got, VIS, is basically the platform and the configuration of the virtual machine. So you can think of this as vCenter, ESXi, vSAN, plus don't forget we can do hardware for you. and the configuration of the VMs, like the outer shell, the affinity rules and the, whatever it entails, how many network cards, and as VMware admins, you know what I'm talking about. We don't go inside the virtual machine itself, but on the next offering we do for the BIOS. So think of the BIOS as you've unlocked the support for Windows, Linux, whatever is inside the virtual machine. We can support that as well. And other than that, it's exactly the same service. VMware platform plus the operating system. We don't touch any applications, whatever they are. We don't secure them. We don't do anything with them. We just look at your environment, and onboarding process is very extensive because we need to know architectural diagrams, UUIDs of the vCenters and ESXi hosts. If they change, we need to change the contract, and there's all kinds of stuff. But we take it very seriously in terms of providing the best delivery for support of VMware and the hardware. And we do have professional services if we're talking about migrations. If you go into Nutanix or you go into, I don't know, Proxmox or whatever your soul desires, we can do all these things listed and much more. But what this means is basically a statement of work. A scoping is required. We cannot just say, oh yeah, you've got VMware, we can support that. If some products are out of scope and somebody says, yeah, we support VMware, don't worry about it, I would be very cautious if they don't get on the call with you and understand what environment you have and just say, yeah, we can support it, don't worry about it. It's like we all know that products like NSX, VRA, VCD, they all need scoping. So we can support them. It's a good comparison chart, but not right out of the box because, I'll give you an example. We had a customer that said, oh, that's a great price you give me for vSAN, vSphere, and vCenter. Can you support NSX for that? I said, well, let's talk about on a call. We'll see how extensive your environment is. And gentleman wearing an NSX shirt, they have stretched 2 data centers, 109 stretched networks, global security groups, global managers, and I'm like, oh, thank you for telling me. It's going to be a different price. Because if anybody says, NSX, yeah, we can support that, that's a red flag for me. Like, I would be like, give me diagrams, show it to me, what do you have? And I was taking notes left and right. Like I said, we take it very seriously. And I will go to this slide here. We've got 24/7 support, so that's for any level of severity. Our engineers will confirm the severity level. Like for end users, it's always severity 1. Production is done, and you go in there and they say, well, I can't change the desktop on my machine. I mean, desktop background. Like, that's not severity 1. So they'll confirm it, and then they'll tell you the response will be this or that, and so on. But the proactive monitoring, it's, again, statement of work, but what happens is with the SLAs, if you've got hardware and software, we have a triage where engineers and escalation managers and so on, they work together and understand, like, how is the ticket going, what's the update, and who's going to be on it, and how to respond. We typically have 15-minute response time, which is pretty fast, right? On average, within 15 minutes, you'll get a response saying, yeah, we're working on your case. And then once we verify that this asset is under support, then you get the service clock starting. And one more thing is onboarding process. Like I mentioned, this is a pretty extensive process. We want to complete it as soon as we can. 30 days, that's pretty long to me because a lot of companies are excited, say, great, let's get onboarded, and then it takes them 2 weeks to get a remote login set up, or they didn't provide some information and so on. So if we don't have the right information for the onboarding, we can't start the contract. And if we're talking about, like, for example, 4,000 ESXi hosts under support, this process can take 2 weeks to verify the environments, data centers, locations, UUIDs, diagrams, and networks, and VMs, and blah, blah, blah. But you know, it would be extensive. And basically, that's it. If you want to scan that, that's my contact info, that code. Already forgot, what's the name of this thing? QR code, thank you. And if you gentlemen have any questions, I'm open to them. Have I missed anything, Mike? Like,
I think that's bang on board. 2 CAN services and an a la carte.
yeah. Statement of work, basically. If we can do, you know, this or that, or let's talk and we'll do, you know, time and material, or just material and see.
Bang on time.
Yeah? We have some time for that. Thank you. I hope you guys use us in the future, save some money.
Thank you, Tim.
All right, you're welcome.